We have four main products that will suit your budget. Okay. When are you thinking of using your machine, and will it just be you using it?
I was hoping to go detecting with my child. We have a small plot of land and we regularly go to the beach on the weekend.
So ideally, we'd like it to be waterproof with an adjustable stem and lightweight too.
Absolutely. And I also need great depth as well. I'd like wireless audio, USB rechargeable, and it would be great if it had a software update.
I have been detecting for 30 years, and there's no way you can get all of that for that price.
And that is where this gentleman is wrong, because there is one option. Only one though. The Nocta Macro Simplex. It's fully submersible, has wireless audio, USB rechargeable, and is updatable. And I haven't finished yet. It has a backlit keypad and LCD, flashlight, and vibration, which is a great feature for underwater use. And the best bit, it's only $299. To be honest, the only thing that's entry level about this baby is its price. Simplex is simply unrivaled. Simple enough for the beginner, yet impressive enough for the expert. Unless, of course, you're the colourful detector.
No, black is cool. I don't think a detector will find me more targets just because it's brightly coloured. I'm going to take two, one for me and one for my 12-year-old son.
I would like to have one of those too, please. With all the metal detectors I own, the Simplex will be the perfect backup detector.
Simplex. All you need is your own IQ to choose the right product.
I'm Dave D, and you're watching XP Team USA.
Sorry, it's DJ.
I think this is what people or a toy shop a little bit cool about the situation. I think you actually been involved with.
Good evening, it's Thursday, it's 8 o'clock, and it's the Big Metal Detecting Show, which we have rechristened for ease of Dave's sake. And a great guest tonight, Martin Zero from YouTube, who we'll be talking to momentarily about all things Mancunian and Urbexing and mudlarking and exploring and everything. I'm really looking forward to tonight's show. So good evening to everybody listening and watching already. I'll get that right one day. Everybody in the chat room, good evening to you all. Hope you're all well. Guess who's been metal detecting? Guess what he's been metal detecting with? Guess who could control it already? Knows what he's doing already and found things. He found 3 coins, a Vicky Apney, early Vicky Apney, a late Vicky Penny, and a George the 6th Apney, as well as something nice and cool, which we can't, it's only little, and we can't exactly make out what's on there as yet, but there's definite something engraving or something on it, so I have to have a look at that. So, yeah, here we are. This week, lots been going on in my life. Sadly, some of it regarding work, continued furlough, and some unpleasant news, which I'm hoping won't affect me, but probably will. So, we've had a book for review. Check this out. The Prehistoric Archaeology of the A477 St. Clears to Red Roses Road Improvement Scheme 2012. And that's by Cotswold Archaeology, and we were sent that by Oxbow Books to review, so that'll be going on the website in the coming days. Talking of the website, we've had multiple new articles gone on this week. Thomas Francis and the Puzzle Stones, World War II bunker exploration, the man who uncovers chain with metal detector attached to an incredible discovery, 1111 time prompt phenomena, field name research, what's it about, Garrett Apac's first Luke, could the spade digging tool you're detecting with be illegal? How to research a permission for metal detecting? Why am I so dumb? The initial teaching alphabet and many, many more. So go to archmdmag.com to view them. I'll get rid of that page now. Last week we started a new thing where we're going to have a look at people's finds from the week. Obviously last week was the first time out from the lockdown that we were able to go metal detecting. And I hope everybody's had a great week since. I certainly did have a great day. Sadly, the site I was on was knee-length in grass because all the other the fields are currently got all the wheat and such like on. So unfortunately, I was able to just go on a long grassed field, but I was going in the areas with the short grass. And as I say, it was fantastic to get out and fantastic to find things. And I did a YouTube video. I always said I'd never do one metal detecting, but I did one. It's only 10 minutes long, but I did one. So, moving on. Luke, I am going to share my screen now, and we are going to briefly go through all the finds of the week that people have sent in. So, some fantastic looking things here anyway. First one up is Charlotte Goldfinch. And as you can see, some fantastic hammered coins that she's had up. Lovely. Lee Hull sent me a spindle whorl, which he had discovered, and a sixpence, Victorian sixpence. There's a few more gone on today that I've not seen yet because I've been very busy. Adrian Terrell, Lizzie sixpence, and an Eddie Petty that he's had in the southwest. Duncan Wappet. Now look at this. How beautiful is that? I think I'm right in saying it's a Roman seal, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Well done, Duncan. Again, Duncan, this is the moment he found it. I think it's a ring, to be honest. I'm not 100% sure, but stunning nonetheless. Two Hammered by Duncan again. Sorry, I'm scrolling through these quickly. Jason Jones, look at them. Fantastic photograph, Jason. Lovely hammered coins. Nice close-up. Another one of his, which is is that a cropal bell? Very nice design on there. More hammers. Look at that rich, beautiful. And I take it that was his day out in full. Quite a collection. Some lovely items there. Little Roman brooch as well. Wonderful. Fair dues, Jason. You do get some good stuff, you do. As I say, I'm scrolling through quick. Ooh, coin. Just pulled a coin out. Oh dear, look at that. Someone's had a gold. Fair play to you, sir. There's the Roman brooch in all its majesty. Paul Bancroft, a nice Henry Penny. Casket key as well, which he found. And an eyes only bone. He did say it on another post. Let me just check. Saxon bone bead. Now, Andrew Jones, he sent me this not long ago as well. As you can see, it looks like a coin that's been made into a button, but he's now thinking it's something totally different. He did show me an inbox of the other side, which if I run across quickly, hopefully I'll be able to find it. And we will be able to see the other side. There's the other side. Somewhere. Hiding in the midst of the darkness. Come on. See, this is the internet. And this is why, again, unfortunately, we're unable to work the simultaneous podcast. We're only able to upload it as an audio file after tonight's show. I'm going to have to leave it there. Oh, is it coming? No, it's not coming. We'll have to leave it there anyway, Andy, and crack on. So there you go. So they're the finds for the week. Fantastic, everybody. Well done. Hi to Digger Dawn. Hope you're well, Digger Dawn. Told her she has to watch because everywhere that Martin's going to be talking about tonight, she'll know very well. I've also let a few other Mancunians know who I know very well, and hopefully they'll be here too. So, without further ado, may I introduce you to our guest tonight, Mr. Martin Zero, who is, well, in my eyes, an adventurer, an urbexer, underground explorer, overground explorer, historian, which he didn't like, and YouTube host. Good evening, Martin.
Sound like a womble.
You're not picking up any litter at the moment, though, so you can't be a womble, and you haven't got big long nose. And...
How are you doing? All right.
All right, mate. It's a pleasure to speak to you. For people who don't know, I came across Martin inadvertently a couple of years ago. I heard tell of a story that the Manchester Ship Canal at a part, Rochdale Canal, don't apologise. The Rochdale Canal in Manchester had a secret plug hole. Was it Manchester? I'm right in saying.
It's Rochdale Canal in the centre of Manchester, yeah.
Right. So I searched to see if it was true, and lo and behold, I found Martin's video where he was actually in the canal basin where they dredged it and they were fixing things and cleaning it, and he showed us the plug hole, and it was fantastic. So I've been following you ever since, Martin, and I've been bothering you to come on the show, and thank you for coming.
Pleasure, absolute pleasure.
So you tell us a little bit about yourself. I've told them what I see. You tell them what you see.
I don't know how I ended up doing this, to be honest with you, at my age. Multiple threads. I think I started out on Instagram and I was taking photos, posting them on Instagram. And I started in Manchester, just little bits of places off the beaten track, really. And people were asking me where they were and what's that. I've never seen that before. And I suddenly thought, I can't believe people haven't seen these places. You know, there was nothing spectacular. I yet had a lot to learn, but just bits of rivers and bits of bridges. And so at the same time, I was toying with the idea of YouTube, although I didn't know what to do on YouTube. On some of my early videos, you can see I don't really know what to do because I'm just experimenting, to be honest with you. Things about music and things about photography, although I don't consider myself a photographer. But eventually, I realised that there was a market and people were interested in this stuff that were off the beaten track, and this stuff that hasn't been there, that's still sort of lying around from a long time ago, that is still visible today if you just need, know where to look. So finally, I found what I was going to do my videos on, and that's it really. And then as it's gone on, I've just got, I don't want to say hardcore, but I found myself in more and more bizarre situations.
Some of your videos, you're talking, nearly 100,000 hits, if not more. Well, where's one? I'm just scrolling through now to gauge one. And then the English Tudor Hall that you done 8 months ago, 186,000 views.
Is that what it's on now? Yeah.
Yeah, you must be so proud of what you're doing to achieve that ratio of viewers.
Yeah, it's great. It's inconsistent because it depends very much on your title on YouTube, as you know, and your thumbnail and everything. You've got to pull the punters in. But yeah, some of those videos blew me away, to be honest with you. Sometimes you'll get a video that will do really well, and you're just thinking, wow, this is fantastic. And of course, the trapdoor did. I think it's heading towards 4 million now. So
It's currently 3.7 million. That is
3.7.
outstanding. That's me about 400,000 of them.
Yeah, I just don't know why that video did that. I do not know to this day, because I rabbit too much in it. I can't watch it anymore because I just blah, 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 blah. And I don't know. I suppose it was the title and the thumbnail. I don't know what it was, but I made that video for about 10,000. What I thought was probably going to be 10,000 canal enthusiasts, and then one of the chaps that was in it said to me, "It's 150,000. This was like about 2 days later. I went, I know, it's doing really well. And then before we knew it, it's done $250,000. It's like, what? So it blew me away, that video. It really did.
But to be fair, Martin, who else apart from you making YouTube videos would have got access to at the exact point where they were doing the work to show the exact place and the exact plug hole?
We were lucky. The week before, we'd been to a canal open day where they drained the lock, and they were letting members of the public in, and it was just the lock further down from the trapdoor. So I was talking to one of the Canal and Rivers Trust guys, and my mate Connor was as well, and we were saying, "Is it true there's a trapdoor up there? There's an actual door in the bottom of the canal?" He said, "Oh yeah, right, really? Wow. And does it go to the river tip?" "Yeah." "Wow, I'd love to see that." And he said, "Well, we're draining that section next week." "Really? What day?" And then he very generously said, "Well, if you come down," I think I had to email him. He gave me the day. "If you come down, I'll get the guys to show you." And they were brilliant. They gave us, we had to wear the, what I got slagged off for, the life jackets, pair of wellies, and they took us down there and we saw everything. And it was absolutely incredible. Incredible it was. And then the rest of the video went mental.
Yeah, and you know that's what somebody else has just commented. Paul King, the trapdoor in the canal, got him hooked, and he watches every week, exactly the same as myself. I'll be honest with you, Martin. I can't do with YouTube. It does me head in, basically, because the kids are on it all the time. It's very rare that I actually watch anything on YouTube. I'll watch things that I need or want to watch. And occasionally I'll glance at like Digger Dawn's. I watch 9 times out of 10 I'll watch Dawn's because she's a close friend. So I'll watch them. Yours is one I watch because I want to watch, and I don't know how many followers you've got on there now. 63.9 thousand subscribers. That's figures we could only dream of on our YouTube channel. So kudos to that. So. Tell us about some of the other areas that you've been to. Obviously, I've got a list here which I can fall back on, but and what made you go to view these type of places?
I suppose it started off. There's literally a road that a shortcut I take out of Manchester, and it's Colliers Road. And then if you go back to my railway history, when I was a train spot when I was about 14 or 15. I knew over to the left-hand side was the old railway sidings. And I started to look at old pictures of Colliers Road and thinking, wow, I cannot imagine that this road that I drive down used to be like this. So I started to look for a few of the old bits and pieces and stuff and found some fascinating stuff. And then, of course, went up onto the railway sidings because I used to be a train spotter. And that's all now derelict and everything. And then it just took off from there. And it's just, I just got more and more absorbed by the stuff that you can find. And I think at the moment, in any city at the minute, Manchester, anywhere, in Britain, you've got this situation where all this development is taking place in these, if I can say, bloody glass towers are going up that all look the same, glass and steel, and then everything's being consumed by housing estates. And I became obsessed with these little pockets that hadn't changed for years. And that's where I like to go and just exploit them and just see what is still hanging around there. And I'll spend a long time poring over Google Maps and going, well, that looks like it's never, that's a little pocket. And then I'll look at the old maps and I'll think, well, what used to be there? Oh, there used to be a mill there. Let's go down there and see what used to be there. And I've done that this week, to be honest with you, with this week's video. So that's it, really, I suppose. Started off on Colliers Road.
Now, as I said to you before the show, we've got a live comments thing going on. So anybody who does want to ask Martin a question, please feel free. And Luke will prompt me by putting it on the screen, as he's just done with Simon Weller saying hello. But any questions, he'll put them on the screen to prompt me into asking Martin. There is one from Dawn Chip Chase, Digger Dawn Martin. She asked, what area are you from?
Dawn, I'm from down the road. I'm from Middleton, which is just down the road from Dawn, I think.
I know she's put on a video this last week or so, which I was watching. She'd been to a fairy glen, and because obviously with the downtime of not being able to go metal detecting, she'd been doing the dog walks and what have you, and she's been to a lot of places which I think, you know, would interest yourself in her area, obviously for walking distance. So
Fairy Glen.
You're going to have to. Where's Dawn? If you're listening, where's the Fairy Glen that you went to? What was the?
There's one in the Isle of Man, isn't there?
Yes, there's a few actually. There's one round the back of Rudyard Lake as well. Still waiting for Dawn to answer there. Tom Appleby says, Martin, will you visit the Manchester, Bury and Bolton Canal?
Yes, I'm planning to do that. I kayaked up a little bit of it last year. That video's on, but I would like to do that. And we've touched on it, kind of. We've been to Clifton, and I keep seeing bits when I'm looking at the map of Clifton and places like that. I'm looking at the canal and going, this is the gem that I need to exploit, really. So, yeah, I'd love to do the Bury Bolton Canal.
Dawn says it's Healy Dell that she went to.
Oh, yes, I know, Dawn, yeah. Healy Dell, yeah. The little art bridge. I've been
that's it,
yeah. Yeah.
There was a lot of industrial stuff that she was looking about, industrial heritage as well.
Yes, there is, yeah.
Again, speaking to you at the start of the show, I was born and raised in Ellesmere Port. Some of my family were boaties. My family give a lot of boaty stuff of hers to the Ellesmere Port Boat Museum. So I was brought up on and around the canals, and this whole canal thing that you do gets me excited every time. Dawn said, did history of Green Booth area too on one of her videos.
Oh, the reservoirs and everything, yeah.
So,
fantastic.
So you also travelled as far as Liverpool.
As far as Liverpool, yeah.
Very alien, very alien.
Oh, it was
to visit the Williamson tunnels. Now, for those who don't know, I think his name was Joseph Williamson. Am I wrong? Maybe. But his definite name was Williamson anyway.
Yes.
And he built tunnels, and nobody knows exactly why he built tunnels. And he was employing the local people in Liverpool, tradespeople and what. He didn't have a job in the Depression, and he was paying them to build tunnels that nobody knows why. So if you Google Williamson tunnels, you'll see. Well, if you go onto Martin Zero's channel, you'll be able to see a video on Williamson Tunnel. Dug the tunnel for no idea. People are now there trying to dig them all out, trying to see why, finding all sorts. Martin, Williamson Tunnels.
What a place. I think I'd seen bits, snapshots of photos on Facebook and thought, wow, that looks incredible. And then lo and behold, they invited me. What an amazing group of people. There's two groups. There's like the main tourist attraction, which is in the centre, I think. But I visited the Friends of the Williamson Tunnels, who sort of excavate another area, and they invited me along. I'm absolutely blown away. The place is incredible. If you get a chance when things get back to normal, the Williamson Tunnels, go and visit them. And there's like I said, there's two sets to visit. But mine was, if you look on the Facebook, Friends of the Williamson Tunnels, lovely people. And the place is baffling, utterly baffling, because nobody knows why he dug the tunnels. The theory is that it was, it just started out as a project to employ local people who were unemployed, and a bit of a skill sharing thing. So there was brickies there teaching bricklaying skills, a kind of a workshop, if you like, skill sharing workshop. But it ended up, I always get this word wrong, a labyrinth labyrinth of tunnels, and the volunteers are there now digging them out by hand using plastic buckets to take the spoil away. And it is utterly, if you like underground stuff, you need to go and visit this place because it is utterly. I'm going to go back when things are back to normal, because places that I saw in my video that were not fully excavated have been further excavated. So I need to go back and do a follow-up video. The place is amazing. And what can I say?
Yeah, I had the opportunity to go and do a media interview and look around and what have you, but sadly, things
have you not been?
Life gets in the way. But I'm definitely going to go there.
Have you not been yet? No.
No. I've been promoting the Friends of Williamson Tunnels for a number of years, but it's one of them places on my hit list. So I was even going to suggest the potential of taking myself and some trustworthy people down to metal detecting there as well to see if there was any metallic artifacts that they might miss. So fantastic place.
Can I say hello to my nephew? Who's just come on.
Of course.
Alan Saxon. Hello, Alan. It's Martin Zero, Alan.
You're giving the name away now.
Alan Saxon.
Delete that, Alan, and start again. Hello this evening to Sky. She's our youngest viewer. She's 12 years old. She's a metal detectorist, and some of her finds put other metal detectorists to shame. She came on the show a couple of weeks ago when I unfortunately had to have time off because I had the COVID virus. But she done brilliantly. Fantastic. So good evening to Sky. And to Lisa, and to Adrian Gaylor, Dominic, Dawn, obviously, Lee Hall, Paul Bancroft, Tom Appleby, Steve Petticoon, etc., etc. Oh, TC as well. Good evening to, sorry, not TC, it's PC now. Pixel Kwood. Last week's guest. Alderley Edge was my next thing I wanted to give. So I'm obviously reasonably close. I live in Congleton, so it's not far. Again, somewhere I've not been down because when they've been having their tours and what have you, hasn't coincided with me being able to go. Now, obviously, Alderley Edge is known mainly for Merlin, the Arthurian legend of things beneath the ground, the spiritualness of the edge, etc., etc. But there's a copper mine, and again, you paid visit to there.
There's a few copper mines. There's 3 that I know of, and again, group of volunteers. Somebody who watched the videos. I was very lucky. He invited me down there. I can't enthuse enough about this place as well. The Alderley Edge copper mines were another place. Amazing place. You'd have to watch the video to see, but I'd heard of the mines, and I'd read the book. I don't know if anyone's read the book, The Weird Stone of Brisingamen, which is by Alan Garner, and he set a lot of the book down in those mines. So to get down there and be taken around by somebody, John, who knows the place, I was absolutely blown away. Just incredible place. There's 3 mines. We did the initial one was called Engine Vein Mine. What a brilliant name for a mine, isn't it? And then we did what did we do? We did Wood Mine, and then we did West Mine, and all of them absolutely fantastic. And I need to go back because apparently there's a boat trip. And I don't know how the boat trip works, but there's somewhere you get on a boat and they take you through one mine links to another or something.
I didn't know that. Didn't know. The only place I've been like that is up Castleton.
Speedwell Cavern. Yeah, I imagine it's like that. But John, who took me around, keeps telling me about the boat trip. So I don't know if John's watching, but you need to get me down and we'll do the boat trip, John.
Can I come too? I'll ballast at the back. I'm quite robust.
They'd be more than happy. The Derbyshire Caving Club, again, a group of volunteers that they kind of look after the mines on behalf of the National Trust, and they just do a brilliant job. And they're out there all year, Tuesday evening, doing the work that they do, digging the mines out, making them safe. Fantastic people, absolutely.
As you can see, we're viewing your video now, and it's absolutely unbelievable. That fantastic, and that's so close to me as well. There's another one that's close to me as well, Martin. I don't know if you've heard of it, but Silverdale, which is in Newcastle under Lyme, is the Apedale mines. You might want to have a look at it as well. they open well, obviously not at the moment. They do a lot of Roman reenactments on the site of Apedale Heritage Centre, but there's the mine tour there as well, which is I think the mine was closed in about the late 90s, and it remained shut until around the around 2010, and they've obviously been doing a similar work as the Williamson and the mine fuzz again, Alderley Edge.
Was it a format?
I'm not sure, to be honest. Not sure.
Right.
But Apedale it's called. Fantastic. I've got another place I've got to go. But working where I work, I'm usually going in the house at 6 o'clock and getting in at past 6 o'clock at night, and the weekend's taken up by everything else we have to do. So
I had a funny moment. I was out yesterday filming this week's video, and I thought I walked past something. It was like a cove, and I thought, can I hear water dripping like a cave? Anyway, not sure. And then somebody messaged me and said, "Oh," because I posted a picture of where I'd been, and somebody said there was an old mine there. I was thinking, my God, is it still open? Obviously, I won't go in because it won't be safe. But if I can get to the entrance, if I did hear water dripping, it sounds fantastic. Just need to go and have another look.
Absolutely. I've got a question off Roy Tabera. He says, will you be exploring with foxes afloat again?
Probably meet up with them again, yeah. Usually there's something we come up with. No plans for the moment. I think they've gone quite far south. So they've gone where it's white and fluffy, and I don't understand it down there. But when they start heading back up north, I'm sure we'll meet up again and do some kind of explore.
So for the listeners, who are foxes afloat?
Foxes Afloat are two guys that live on a canal boat, and they kind of film their life on the canal boat and their adventures, really. They're great pair of guys. So I highly recommend Foxes Afloat. They're brilliant.
I've just wrote that down. Another question from Nicola Costello. Have you heard about the Jubilee Mines restoration in Shore?
Nicola, right. I went to... No, I don't think I have. I went to some place with coke ovens that was in Milnrow. What was that called? I think that was Jubilee Colliery. But I haven't heard about anything recent. Hello, Nicola. It's Nicola that I know. Yeah. Nicola, I might have done a video there. I think it's where you mean. Yeah. And it's brilliant because there's these old coke ovens that are sort of like really in good nick.
James Welsh asked, did you ever get your drone back?
Never got the drone back. The drone is still sat at the bottom of the River Irwell. I've had multiple... I've got somebody's offered me another idea of getting it back now. Somebody's developed some kind of underwater drone, a bit of a homemade thing apparently. And he said, we'll go down and try and get your drone back. I'm thinking it's been down there in February 2018. It isn't going to work.
Hey, worst things have been seen to work again. Madness.
Yeah.
Where am I now? Where are we up to? You always talk about and look at the architecture of buildings as well. Is architecture again a passion of yours?
Well, it wasn't, but it's become a passion of mine. When you learn in bits, don't you? Because I very much just go out, an idiot with a camera. I just go out and just film it, and I miss things. And then somebody will point something out, I'll go, wow. And I'll give you an example. So I learned about dressed stone from the Williamson tunnels. Mike, who took me around, said, look at that lovely dressed stone. And I was like, all right, that's dressed stone, is it? Yesterday, I'm looking at the remains of an old mill. Most of the thing had collapsed and been washed into this little brook. And there are the plinths and the bits of dressed stone in the middle of this brook. And I'm filming it and going, look, dressed stone. So I learn as I go along. I didn't know any of this stuff. And now I do. I'll look at an arch and I'll look at brickwork and I'll go, that's incredible. That is really incredible.
Dawn says at the bottom, Martin, you're great. Must be something in our area that makes us all passionate explorers. Yeah,
I think so, Dawn. I think we've got those little pockets of areas that still exist that haven't been swallowed up yet, but maybe will be soon. And you get this, whenever you go somewhere interesting, you get this sense, or I do, of impending doom that the place is going to disappear and change forever. Pomona Island in Manchester being one of them. lovely old deserted dockland. Now, to some people, it's a wasteland. I thought it was fantastic, but already it's being built on, and there's massive development going to take place there. So yeah, it's passion, because it ain't going to last. It's probably going to get swallowed up.
I honestly believe yourself and Dawn should communicate, because what's Dawn? What's the moors by your house, which I met you on when we were doing the metal detecting rally? No, it wasn't Saddleworth. Just up from her road, where she lives, just up the top of it. It's a little village, and it's where the cotton riots. Is that right? Cotton riots, where they used to, the road that they used to go over the top.
Rullimore Road.
I'm not sure. She'll tell me now.
They call the Cotton Family Road.
She's been for miles up there, and I think I'm right in saying that right on the top, miles from anywhere where you can't get to, is a pub or a disused pub. So there's all them buildings around there, and obviously, I'm sure she'll be able to tell you all sorts, because she's been Rullimore. That's it.
Rullimore Road. Yeah, it was the Cotton Family Road. It was what the people built while there was no work in the mills.
Right. Well, when we were up there, we were doing I'd done a number of metal detecting rallies for the Mayor of Rochdale, I think about 3 or 4, and we were given permission by the owners of Rullimore to actually do a metal detecting rally on there. Sadly, I had no idea what it looked like, so we had to, the Cotton Famine Road, that's right, we had to drop that idea and go somewhere else. But we went for walks, and she was telling me all the history and that, but there was actually a local history club fun day sort of thing at one of the buildings just down the road, and I can't remember her name because my mind's gone blank. She was in Kevin Webster's sister in Coronation Street.
All right.
And Johnny Briggs, his big sister in Johnny Briggs years ago, you'll know that one. And she was actually there, so I went all fanboy and got my picture taken with her, because I had a thing for her for years.
Well,
go on, sorry.
If she contacts me, because I'd like to bring a bit of metal detecting in, but I don't know anything about it, so she could advise me.
Well, she said definitely. She is a representative for Garrett, the metal detector company in the UK. So
right,
yeah.
I have watched one of the videos. I have watched one of the videos, but I know nothing about it. You know what you can and can't do.
She'll definitely help you out. No problem there. But yeah, honestly, even if you've done a joint video, your side of the story and her side of the story, that'd be fantastic to watch.
Yeah, it worked well.
Obviously, coming from different areas.
Yeah.
So, of all the places that you've been to, and there's been a lot, there's been mills, there's been mines, there's been canals, all these places you've been, which for you is the most memorable?
It's difficult. I honestly, and I'm not trying to be diplomatic, I can't say there's one particular memorable. I mean, you know, the Alderley Edge mines, the Williamson tunnels, Stanage railway tunnel, and the River Medlock were probably, you know, some of the most fantastic things I've ever seen. So off the top of my head, those 4. But then, yeah, so the whole of the Medlock was just one hell of a journey. Stanage tunnels. Pomona Island, yeah, somebody's commenting there about Pomona Island. That was fantastic as well. So yeah, there's probably a top 4 really, those places.
So the River Medlock, tell us a bit about that. I don't know where the River Medlock is, so I've got no knowledge of that.
Okay, so the River Medlock starts around just outside Oldham, a place called Strinesdale, and it runs all the way down towards Manchester. And the interesting thing about it is it runs through the very centre of Manchester, and it's a bit forgotten, it's a bit shoved to one side, it's heavily culverted. And then one particular day I was in Phillips Park Cemetery, and I was doing a story about when the cemetery flooded and some of the coffins got washed down the Medlock. And I decided I would try and follow the River Medlock from Phillips Park, which is the edge of Manchester. I was aware that the rest of the river existed, but I was interested in the Manchester city centre part of it because I thought it's quite neglected, this thing. So I wanted to follow it from Phillips Park through the city centre to where it concludes at the River Irwell. I was going to walk above ground and follow it and just do it in one video. I then decided I was going to buy a pair of waders and I got into the Medlock, and I thought, this is quite interesting. So rather than do just one video walking above ground and trying to follow it, I ended up doing the whole thing, walking the course of the Medlock through the city centre of Manchester and getting this amazing, unique view of Manchester from down in the Medlock, because it's heavily culverted and it's quite cavernous. So you've got buildings either side and you're down in the river, and it's very difficult to access. So it was one hell of an experience, from stinking, horrible culverts with filthy, stagnating mud to just being in this beautiful oasis. And the things you see along the Medlock are fantastic. Sorry, that was a very full answer.
That's what it's all about. I do have some questions. Steve Pettican, he asks, do you ever get worried going down a deep hole, and do you watch horror films? Ha ha.
And no, I've never been worried. The only time I've felt really intimidated was when I was on Marsden Moor and I looked down the ventilation shafts for the Stanage canal and railway tunnels, but initially built for the canal tunnel, and they're like 500 feet deep, and it was incredibly intimidating. I was absolutely terrified. Although I was safe, it was a terrifying thing to look at. But everywhere else, I'm not a daredevil, you see, so everywhere else I felt usually okay.
MS Detector said, have you ever had any paranormal experiences in any of the places that you've been?
I can't honestly say that I have. You would have thought so, but I honestly don't think I have really. No. No, I honestly can't genuinely say that I have.
Digger Dawn said she'll definitely contact you, and she's got spare detectors, so don't worry about that.
Oh, wow.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Sue Devaney was the actress that I was on about. And if you share the screen, Luke.
That's the Older Late Minds. There's John. He took us round. Passionate advocate of the mines, John.
I'm just sharing the screen just to show me fanboy picture when it pops up. James Welsh says Manchester is becoming a characterless place, just glass and steel everywhere. So I think you're doing a brilliant job documenting its history before it disappears.
Thank you very much, and that's exactly the way I feel. I don't want to appear like a Luddite and that I'm against anything that's progress, but a lot of these buildings now are just looking the same. Now, I might be a bit of a hypocrite saying that, because you can imagine in Victorian times everything was just red brick, but at least they tried to give it an aesthetic, they tried to give it an appeal and a bit of ornamental. This lot is just, everything is the same. It's glass and steel.
Yeah, it is. Every time I come into Manchester, it changes. I don't come often, but when I do, you can notice the changes quite easily, even coming in on the train. That was my fanboy picture that popped up, by the way, of me and Sue Devaney.
Right.
Steve Vickers said the secret trapdoor has got to be, where is it? One of the top picks. Dawn said, really interesting answer. Nick West, we've got some sea caves in Galicia, because he's in Spain, Nick West.
Oh, right.
Where used by U-boats that he wants to get into.
Wow.
TC said, are you thinking the descent, Stephen? No, don't know what one was about. Evening to Diggers, stop moving, Diggers UK, Scott and Kimmy DeBay. Dawn says, yeah, the buildings are horrible. Good evening to Sammy Jane. Sammy Jane, are you the one that's just invited me to Northwest Magneteers? If you are, you come in on the show, like it or not. There's a new Facebook page started with Northwest Magneteers, which I think it's Sammy Jane who invited me to it, where they're going to be doing some magnet fishing, which hopefully I'll be doing tomorrow, because I've got a new magnet, which I'm going to find the old one that said daughter lost. So there you go. New one coming. Your most recent video was Hartshead Pike and the building on top, which I think was remade in the 1800s.
Yeah. It was that was a bit of a. I've been struggling obviously recently with the lockdown and everything, getting out and about. So I decided I've actually not been going out, and I thought, this is ridiculous. You are allowed out. So I went up Hartshead Pike, and obviously that was another learning curve, and I learned about the different buildings throughout its throughout that had existed on top of that hill, and now there's a lovely sort of a tower thing there that you can't go in, unfortunately.
Well, I'm going to stop for a minute, Martin. Go and get yourself a drink or a wee. Luke's just going to play some adverts, and we'll be back shortly.
See you soon.
Cheers.
I'm Dave D, and you're watching XP Team USA.
Hi guys, Aaron here. Now if you've got nothing else to do, and I mean nothing else to do, absolutely nothing else to do, why not pop over to YouTube and check out South Coast Detecting.
And I went over to show them.
Sorry, it's DJ.
I think this is what people or toy shop. A little bit too about the situation. I think whatever you actually been involved
I can't help but dance when that advert comes on for the show. Love it. Absolutely fantastic. How Luke made that, I don't know. Excuse me while I burp because I'll be drinking carbonated drinks. So, again, as it's been a busy old week for most of us, be able to get out and about. We've seen some of the finds. As we've said in the past, you know, even if you don't go metal detecting for a period of time, then finds are still going to be there. And by seeing what people have found and people getting out because they're not off work, because they're furloughed, there's finds in abundance. Now, obviously, Wales and Northern Ireland have a different set of regulations. And basically, I think they are going to come to a point in the coming weeks or days where their Welsh people and including Mr. Pettican, whose wife makes nice Welsh cakes apparently, and Northern Ireland people will be able to get out and about soon. Today, Scottish Parliament have set out their phased return to normality. I say normality in a loose sense, and I think people in Scotland, as of now, more or less, are able to go out metal detecting. So I believe we'll be seeing a lot more from people throughout the country in the coming days, and I'm looking forward to them greatly. I've been communicating all week with Mark Betcher of Metal Detectives Group and organiser of Detectable. And we do have in the coming weeks another special show. I don't want to give too much details away because we're still in the organising stage, but I can say it will be a massive show. And hopefully we'll be doing something which will raise money for one particular charity within the metal detecting community. So hopefully please keep your eyes on the big Metal Detecting TV and radio show on Facebook group, and you'll see when that information is ready to go out and about. As I said about with the book review coming and the web updates, please visit www.archmdmag.com. Follow us on Facebook as a page or a group where we do the discussions and what have you. The Facebook page, obviously, for this, to get information for the show. And the page itself runs with copious amounts of archaeological and metal detecting and historical news stories every day. Probably up to 20, plus that nice man, Mr. Lee Hull, puts his photographs that he's taken and adds some in historical information to them. And all sorts going on. So back to Martin. Martin.
Hello.
There he is.
Yeah,
Here he is.
I've made a brew.
Good man. I just send a text to the kids. So, any other places, tell us about your videos. How many have you got on there now?
I can't remember. Is it? I think 120 or 130. But it took 4 years. It took me 4 years. There are other. I look at other YouTubers and they've got lots more than me, but it took me 4 years to get about 130, 40 videos or something. Of varying quality.
And now you're trying to get it to one a week.
I try and do one a week. It's difficult because it takes all your time, and you've got that sort of working to a schedule and working full time is difficult. And I don't like rushing them because I miss things when I rush them. But yeah, I try and do one a week.
What do you do for a living, Martin?
Working at healthcare.
Good man. Good
Very
man.
topical at the minute. That's
And
why I'm
obviously-
still working, and I'm not. Unfortunately, I'm not furloughed at the moment.
Yeah. And of course, you are a proud Mancunian. You can tell with your passion in your videos to the locality, and even the picture behind you shows you're a proud Mancunian.
Well, you can see that, can you? Yeah, that's it. We got bought that years ago. It's by an artist called Neil Rowland. It's called Manchester Red.
You're not a Manchester Red, are you?
No, I'm not a big football fan, so I can remain neutral on that.
I
No,
was going to
no.
say, Luke, cut him off if he is.
No, I genuinely don't understand football, so. I can't remember how many. I think it's 130 or 140 or something like that.
So how do you get permission to go in some of these locations? Obviously, there's collieries, there's one with this big industrial hangar, more or less, that you were in the other week. How do you get permission to go in these places?
Well, a lot of the places were invited. So the hangar you're talking about, the studios, we were invited down there by a chap who works there. We got invited into this big place called Space Studios, and we filmed in there in between productions. The town hall, I got invited in by someone who works there. I'm trying to think where else we've been invited in. Bloomington Tunnels, the Alderley Edge Mines, again, people who watch the videos and think, oh, let's get him down. But a lot of the places they just end up wandering in, places like the River Medlock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got in the river. I found the point where it was accessible and got in. Somebody else said to me, are you allowed to walk in the Medlock in Manchester? And the answer is, I don't know. If this was a river in the middle of the countryside and you had a picnic by it, or you'd have your dog in there, you'd be splashing about in there, and nobody would bother. So when I'm in a pair of waders walking through town in the middle of the Medlock, I just think, I don't know, I stand here, but I've never been pulled up or anything like that. Try and be sensible, I don't try and do anything dangerous. There's the odd place like the mill that we went in. We probably shouldn't have been there, but again, we did a place called Hartford Mill, and we did it 2018. But literally, it was an old derelict mill, and we walked in. So it's just fantastic, really.
When
I think
you say we, is it your son Connor who's on the video?
no, Connor's a mate of mine.
Right.
He's a bit lad and dad, really. But yeah. But the thing is, at my age, most of my mates won't come out with me. They'll be like, I'm not putting waders on. I'm not going down the bloody hole. So it's usually I have to get somebody young and daft to come with me. And Connor, bless him, is enthusiastic and young and daft enough to come with me. And there are a couple of other lads that come with me as well. But you ask somebody in the 50s do you fancy climbing into a river and walking through it? They're like, no, mate, I'll watch you from the comfort of my own home.
Well, you can certainly invite me because I'd jump at the chance.
Yeah, come along, yeah.
As I say, some of these places that you've been into, we've seen disused viaducts, we've seen your rivers, your canals, tunnels, There was one that you were mudlarking as well before you went into one particular. Was
Oh,
it
yeah.
a mine then?
Yeah, the mudlarking. We filmed that in January, and I discovered the whole area of Clifton Country Park, and that then led on to the work of James Brimley and what he'd done in the area. James Brimley, the famous canal engineer, and that was it blew me away. And when we started to look at Wet Earth Colliery and what James Brimley had done there, absolutely consumed. Me and my mate Danny were consumed by the place. So there's Danny. We made the video. We made 2 videos about the place, and then we got interrupted by the current events. So we're trying to get back there when things are normal, and we'll carry on the story.
Yeah. Mad. The tank.
Tank.
Gonna shoot people.
Tank rover, yeah.
Yeah, as I say, Martin, you can't knock your videos in any way, shape, or form. Anybody who does try knocking your videos, the half-wits, obviously, because,
Thank you. You can't really please everyone. There's always...
I wouldn't know where these places were if it wasn't for you showing us. I mean, you're showing people places that most of the time they can then gain access to themselves, not so much to make videos, but to see it firsthand.
Yeah.
You are documenting history in the area because it will be lost, given the current building.
Yeah, definitely. I had a tip-off this week about another development that's going to take place in Manchester. It was not a tip-off. It was just, it's something anyone can find out, but I didn't know about it, and I thought, right, I'll get down there and video the place before it changes for good.
Yeah. Where are we? Graham Laraway, every credit to you, mate. Healthcare are getting hit hard, so he takes his hat to you. Roy Tabarer again. He loved it when you went to rescue a mate's drone from the top floor of a derelict building.
Oh yeah. We just nipped in. It was New Year's Day, and it was the same mill we've been to before being demolished. And my idiot mate had flown his drone in through the window. Can you believe? So we nipped in and rescued the drone, which was on its back like a beetle, looking up at the sky, looking up at the ceiling.
Yeah. My mind's gone absolutely blank again, Martin. I hate it when I do this.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
One of my heroes was the steeplejack, whose name eludes me. Fred Dibner.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I've still watched his programs. To every single program he's done, I've got DVDs. The on telly now and again on Yesterday and such like. He's one of my absolute heroes.
Yeah.
And I think the passion that he showed for industrial heritage when he was visiting these sites, you showed exactly the same yourself.
Yeah. The thing about Fred was the man was a genius. He not only could he understood how it worked, and not only did he understand how it worked, he could probably rebuild the thing. I just very much stand back and look at it and go, that's lovely. But Fred could build, couldn't he? That chimney he put on his mum's house was fantastic. So not only did he pull chimneys down, but you knew he had the skills to actually build one like it. That's what
he even built a mine shaft in his back garden.
He did, yeah, and he was a true engineer. So he was very much in touch with everything that he did. I regard myself very much as a that's lovely type of person. You know what I mean?
Well, the thing was with Fred Dibner, he was completely and utterly 100% self-taught. Everything, even the way he wrote, which was the fantastic, italic writing and what have you. He was absolutely all of that was by himself. One of the true legends of the UK.
He was an engineer, weren't he? He was an engineer at heart. Yeah, very much so. Very much so.
There's a video that I love watching. One of his demolitions back in the 70s that was filmed for TV, and he's basically stood there with tyres underneath the bottom of the chimney saying, right, move away from there because this chimney's going to drop there. Smoking a fag, setting fire to the bloody thingy with a rag, making sure it stood there as it's burning right next to the chimney.
Yeah.
And where he said that chimney would topple, it toppled. Not even with an inch. It was right there. And he's there smoking a fag while he's doing it.
Yeah, it's quite a record of the time. Because I remember when the series first came out, I think it was 78 on BBC Two. I remember being about 11 or 12 and watching it and thinking, this is fantastic. And then when you look back at that first and second series, and you see him pulling these demolition sites, building a big fire, and there's kids running around and there's people running around, and then they'll just say, right back there, you lot now, and it's just like that would not happen these days. But it's quite a record, but it's fantastic, really, you know. And that's how it's very, even nowadays, like going down into the canal to see the trapdoor. I was amazed that we were allowed down there in the current climate of health and safety and everything. So it was you know, I don't know where I'm going with this one, but yeah, it's great when people just relax that health and safety and go, yeah, come and have a look. It's fantastic, you know.
Yeah, what true British legend, and I was very, very sad when he passed away. A former colleague of mine met him, and he had one of his autobiographies, and he'd signed it in that pristine writing that he'd done. So awesome.
Right.
Jesus, he knows what I'm on about. That was to someone from work.
Unfortunately, I never met him.
It would have been a delight, I'm sure. You'd
Yeah.
spend hours just listening to him.
Yeah.
Actually, Steve Pettican wrote, he met him back in 1993 and he liked the beer. I loved the series where he was travelling around the UK in the steam engine with his son. That was fantastic.
Yeah, I missed some of those later ones. I need to catch up with some of them. I've seen the odd one, but I missed some of the later ones. Mm.
In fact, ArchMDmag.tv are going to have to put a Fred Dibner playlist on tomorrow. That will be the case. Yeah, don't. Fred didn't think much of health and safety.
It's a brilliant one if you watch him, and it's called, I think it's just a DVD in its own right, and it's How We Ladders the Chimney. It's incredible. And I can't watch because I start to sweat because I don't do heights.
I've seen a video of him doing that, and it was mesmerising. There's no way that could be done today. And he went all the way to the top. And he wasn't. He must have been a fit man. Straight to the top. Not a
incredibly fit. Yeah,
bead of sweat.
Yeah, and the thing is, when he's doing it, he'll go. He revisits the holes he put in donkeys years ago, and he said, "Oh yeah, I've been up here before. Put this one in a few years ago." And where he's knocking the thing in to put the ladder in, he did it about 10 years or 15 years previous.
Yeah.
So he knows where he's put all the things for the wood.
What was the video? Cholera, beer, and Bradford. I've not watched that one.
Oh, that was a bit of a mixture video. So again, it was a lockdown video. And it concentrated on a little tour that I did last year for the Manchester International Festival, where we got taken underneath Manchester Victoria Station, and it was a strange combination of a talk on cholera with this art installation by this Japanese art group that were making bricks down there. But I finally got into the undercroft of Manchester Victoria Station, and I saw my bridge that I'd seen from down in the culvert, which is a hell of a culvert to get into. If you know the River Irk under Manchester Victoria Station, I'd been down in that culvert, but then I finally got into the undercroft of that. What was the Bradford bit? The Bradford bit was a mate of mine that did a video around the Bradford area of a little stream. So I was inviting people to send bits of videos in that they'd made.
I'll be next on my list, that one. And you do some live streams yourself as well.
Done a few live streams. Mixed feelings about them because it's the last one descended into retro TV madness. So we ended up talking about kids' TV shows, but it was very UK orientated. So I think the international audience were a bit like scratching their heads, going, "Don't know any of this." Mr. Ben and UFO and Thunderbirds and all the rest of it started cropping into it.
Nothing wrong with them. Brought
No.
up on them.
Yeah.
And you've been all around. External of Manchester, obviously the Williamston Tunnels and Alderley Edge. Where else external of Manchester have you visited?
Outside of Manchester, just trying to think. Ooh, put me on the spot. Not that far. We've been over to Yorkshire. Uh-huh. We went to Derbyshire. We saw Paul Whitewick. So I've got mates with a railway enthusiast called Paul Whitewick, his channel's called The Whitewicks, I think. And him and his good lady wife go out looking for these old disused stations. And I ended up in Derbyshire, and we found some incredible old railway architecture. It actually predated the railways. They were tramways, and I think it was called the Butterley Gang Road. And I think the very first we found, or we were near the very first ever built railway tunnel, but it weren't a railway; it was a gangway, so it was probably horse-drawn, wagons. And this chap had this old railway tunnel from about 1790 odd in his garden, and he found it by accident. I mean, it was known it was there, but it had been filled in. And one day he's excavated in this garden. It was a very nice garden, by the way, and he ends up going into this tunnel, and I think he had to contact a museum or somewhere, and they came down and they photographed it all and everything. It's filled in again now, but some of the earliest architecture and some early work by George Stephenson. Somebody else amazingly had at the back of their garden this little cutting, and again it was a gangway. It was just a wagon road, and there was a tunnel, a small railway tunnel that somebody had in their garden at the back, and we had to ask permission. They said, "Oh yeah, come in," and we ended up going through the garden and going into this old cutting where I think they were putting the grass cuttings down there. Nothing worse than that, but a few grass cuttings. And there's this tunnel, and it was been breeze blocked up. Unfortunately, somebody had knocked a hole in it. We shoved the camera through, and it was like looking into a different world. So I think that video was called "Some of the Oldest Railway Architecture in Britain" or something like that.
I've seen that one, yeah.
Yeah, it was fantastic, and good on Mr. Whitewick for tipping me off about that, because I wouldn't have known that existed.
Britain's oldest railway architecture.
That's the one, yeah. And I think we investigated 3 tunnels, and blown away. An absolute amazing day, completely blown away.
So when you say you're a railway enthusiast, are we talking vintage railway, the days of steam, or are we talking modern?
No, well, I was more. I started spotting in 81 to 83, so I was 14, 15 years old then. So I was very much into diesels, and I very much in my teenage adolescent ways spurned steam. As I've grown up, not only now do I love the old vintage diesels that were around when I was a kid, I've learned to love steam and the whole railway architecture and the whole railway history. I think you appreciate it more as you get older. I had the chance, I think we went to Barry Island once in South Wales, where all the steam locomotives were dumped, and I wish that I took pictures, but I didn't. But we were kind of like going, but we didn't realise just what we were looking at. And anyway, I've learned to love steam now as well.
Steve Petter can say it was Upton on 7 steam rally, 8 pints, and then he drove the traction engine from the pub back to the showground. So what's next for you? What adventures have you got planned?
Okay, so I've been out this week. I'm glad you asked me that. And I've been following a little brook, and it's near me. It's between Rochdale and Bury, and there's this little brook. Well, there's 2 valleys from what I understand, and down these valleys there was kind of like these 18th century mills that utilised the brook. One of them is the Cheesden Brook, and they were mills from the early part of the Industrial Revolution. And they fell into ruins. So you've got these amazing ruins of these mills. That it's like this lost world, the land that time forgot. So yesterday I found myself wandering around this old mill in this valley, and all you can hear is bees and birds, and all around you is fallen stone and chimneys and bits of arches. So I was filming that, so I'm trying to get that edited for this weekend if I can. I'm going to call it something like The Valley of the Lost Mills or something like that. But it's a romantic title, but it really is the valley that time forgot, really. Local people will know about it, but I think other people won't know about it.
I'm trying to find I wrote something down. I can't understand me writing. Foxes Abroad were they called, the ones that you follow, that you went with?
Afloat. Foxes Afloat. Yeah.
Change that B to an F.
Boxes.
I think we've got some more things down. Sammy Jane says you're not far from her. Dawn said that's where I was on my last walk. I found a cool tunnel there you might not have seen. at Cheesden
Oh,
Brook.
all right.
Graham Laraway said, Martin, PM me at some point. I've got around 500 to 1,000 slides of steam trains
Well,
that I'd like someone who would appreciate them to have. Very kind of him.
fantastic. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I can't see your comments aren't moving for me. So if you can PM me on Martin Zero on Facebook, if you don't mind, that'd be great. Oh yeah, Graham. So I've just seen the comment now. Brilliant, Graham. So Graham, if you can PM me, or I'll remember Graham Laraway, and I'll try and find you on Facebook.
Yes, the industrial age, it's something that, it's sadly starting to demise all the buildings, all the, the steam engines, etc., and it's hard for people of a certain age to see that crumble. And then you've got people of another certain age that have no idea what it is and no interest in it because, hey, it's all glass and shiny metal now. So sad but true.
Yeah, there are some people that love progress and love to see what's happening in Manchester, and it is good. It's great that there's all this investment coming in, but I just don't think. I think it could be done with a little bit more sympathy towards the heritage.
Yeah.
Why do people go to York and go to London and these places that attract all these overseas visitors? Is because they've got a mix of the old and the new, and they've respected the heritage. People want to sit by rivers, and people want to see the hanging bridge in Manchester, and anyway, I won't rant.
When I come to Manchester, where did we go last year?
Well, I'll tell you where does everyone go? I'm sorry to chip in, but when you go to Manchester City Centre on a sunny day, where does everyone sit outside? It's the old Tudor-looking pubs down at Exchange Square.
Yeah.
And why did they do that? Because they feel a bit of cultural heritage and history. I'm speaking purely for Manchester here. And, you can't, when you start to destroy that, it becomes soulless. One of the most soulless places in Manchester for me, and I apologise for anyone that likes it, is Spinningfields. And it's just this glass, steel nothingness of restaurants and bits of shops. And it's soulless. And where does everyone flock to? Where there's a little bit of heritage and they feel that there's a bit of a Tudor-looking pub there, So
we went, as I say, to Manchester last year. I think my wife had got me, that sort of like inside crazy golf thing, got me tickets to go there.
Yeah.
So as a family, the four of us went to Manchester. It was bank holiday, it might have been August, I think. Anyway, I ended up doing a video because there was a canal in the basin at Deansgate which was coming through the locks. So I've done a video on that because that's what I love. And I'm looking at things and it's fantastic. I was saying to my wife, there's a bridge right by it over the road, an old bridge, and it had small archways underneath, floor level to say waste. And I couldn't understand why they were there. They've been bricked up, obviously, now, but I couldn't understand why they were there before.
Yeah.
And, it's all this. If we go anywhere, I have to walk down the canal in Manchester. Anywhere, anytime we go, anywhere it is, I've got to go walk down the canal. Even if it's in, I nearly said it without the sea, but Canal Street. The architecture and the canal all around there, absolutely fantastic. Stunning.
Yeah.
So, people need to look around a little bit more.
Yeah, well,
come out the comfort zone.
Those are the popular areas, Canal Street, anywhere where there's a bit of water, a bit of heritage. That's where what people love, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Martin, it's been an absolute pleasure to speak to you tonight. I'll be following your exploits, undoubtedly, and I hope everybody else does too. Can you tell us your YouTube channel and your Facebook page as well?
Martin Zero on YouTube and Martin Zero on Facebook. I haven't got a website yet, but I'm working on that.
So any of you who have not visited his YouTube, honestly, please do. I've had it open throughout the night. Luke's obviously been showing videos in the background, and some of the video, you're not going to see videos like what Martin's making. I know most of the listeners, most of the viewers come here because it's a metal detecting orientated show primarily, but please think about the history and look at Martin. You'll learn a hell of a lot, because I certainly have. So I can't thank you enough for coming on and doing the videos, Martin.
Thank you very much indeed. It's been great to come on. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome back anytime. You know, in the future, we'll call you back and ask you back on again, and you know, we can talk about other things or your updates on things, and maybe have a look at more videos. And obviously now you're getting out and about. People on here know who you are, so hopefully people want to see you come back to discuss what you're doing next. So thank you.
Definitely, thank you.
That's Martin Zero. Again, thank you very much from all of us. It's been an absolute pleasure. And, you know, there's so much more we could go on to talking about. And unfortunately, time doesn't allow us because, hey, Luke's got to go to work in the morning. Martin's probably got things to do. And obviously other people will disappear to other lands as well. While we've been doing this show, we've organised next week's guest, Hammy Sammy. The Northwest and Northwest Magnetia Facebook page will be coming on next week's show. So looking forward to that greatly. Thank you all, one and all, for listening tonight, watching tonight. I'm still stuck in podcast mode. I do apologise. Thank you all for video. I'll get there in a minute. Viewing tonight. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for all your comments and input. Thank you for everyone who sent their images into the Facebook page so we could view them today. Let's do that again next week and see what everybody finds in the coming week. In the meantime, have a great week metal detecting, magneting, exploring, and whatever you do. I'm Dave Sadler. Thanks to Luke in the background. Good night.
I'm Dave D, and you're watching XP Team USA.
And I went over to show them.
Sorry, it's DJ.